Audio Jungle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Opera Property Management System Training. Today's class, we're going to talk about cashiering. Another word for cashiering in Opera is billing. The cashiering function in Opera is where all financial transactions take place. This includes billing, posting, charges, print and viewing folios, adjusting charges, transferring charges, posting payments, and miscellaneous functions such as shift closing. The cashiering function also allows you to settle a guest's account and check them out in the Opera system. So some of the things that we're going to cover in cashiering is we're going to take a look at the cashiering billing screen for a guest. We're going to look at the options on the cashier billing screen. We're going to show you how to post a charge, how to make a simple checkout for a guest, and we will also show you how to close out your cashier. So, why do I need to put in my password to access billing? Is a lot of people's question. So first, how do we get into cashiering function or the cashier billing screen? And always remember there's multiple ways to access cashiering billing in Opera. The first way I'm going to show you is by clicking on Cashiering, and we have a billing button. And what I was talking about was the cashier login. Opera will never let you access any cashiering function without entering your Opera login password. This is done to protect the user from someone else using their login for financial transactions and also keep track of what user is making financial transactions within Opera. Each Opera user that has access to the cashiering function will be assigned a cashier number. This is set up during the user configuration. The user will not be able to change this because it is connected to the user's ID. So as you see, we have the cashier login here. We have my cashier ID that is connected to my login, and now I can put in my Opera password. Once I do that, we can access the in-house guest cashiering screen. The billing search screen. What is the billing search screen used for? The billing search screen is used to search for guests that are in-house and checked out in order to view their folios or bills. So we have the yellow border here. We can search by room number. We can search by name. We can search by first name, by the group, the agent, company, the party, and block. Over on the right here, we have check boxes. So if we only want to see the do-outs, we can uncheck the stayovers, click search, and here's our do-outs. We have 2 do-outs, plus a couple of the posting masters. If I want to include the stayovers, I can check the stayover box, click on search, and it shows me everybody in house, either do-outs and including stayovers. If I only want to see the checked out guests, I can click on checked out, click search, and today I have not checked out any guests yet. You have an Advanced button over on the right-hand side. If I click on the Advanced button, it gives me more things to search with. So I could search by the block code. I could search by payment type, by reservation type, by the confirmation number, by member type. I could put in arrival date and departure date. I also have check boxes if I want to look at any no-shows, any canceled reservations, or any folios that are on open folio status, which we'll talk about later on. If I click the Advanced button, those fields disappear, and we're back to these fields we can search from. If I wanted to go into the billing screen of one of my due-out guests, I can uncheck stayovers, uncheck stay out or checked out, and choose due outs. I click search, brings up all the guests that are due out today. Their status is due out. So if I wanted to go into Andy Seiler's room, you see he has a balance of $394.90. I highlight and then I click on select. And this will take you to the billing screen. The billing screen is where the user will settle the guest's balance and complete the checkout process. There can be one folio or up to a maximum of 8 folios. In Opera, these folios are called windows. Charges can be moved around to multiple windows within one reservation or transferred to different windows into another reservation. Okay, so this is just the billing screen. Notice the one window, the one folio. If I want to open a second folio, I can do a right click and I can create a new window. When I create a new window, now we have folio 1 and folio 2. Or we can look at the tabs on the right hand side here. If I want to see folio 3 and 4, I could do a right click anywhere on my screen, choose new window, and now I have folio 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I want to get rid of folio number 3 and 4, I can click in number 4 and it cannot have any postings in the window. Do a right click and I choose delete window. If I want to get rid of number 2, do a right click on the window and choose delete window. Okay. All right, we're going to close out of the billing screen for just a moment. There are several ways that you can access the billing screen. So what we just did, we went on the main Opera screen, we went to Cashier, and we went to billing, and then we entered our password to see all the guests that are in-house so we can get to the billing screen. Another way is within a reservation. So if we go to front desk and go to in-house, we click on search. Here's a list of our in-house guests. There's Lyle Erke's reservation, who's a due out. Another way that you can get to the billing screen is by going to options and click on billing. And then you can put in your password and it will take you to the billing screen. Okay, we'll close there. Close out of options. And close and go back to the main screen. One other way that you can get to the billing screen is by going to the dashboard. The dashboard, you can access the dashboard by using our quick keys. So if you press Control F4, this brings up what we call is the dashboard. The dashboard is a one-stop shop where you can pull up in-house reservations, you can pull up future reservations, you can pull up in-house guests. So if I want to just click on search here, it's going to bring up everything, all my in-house, my checked in, and if I had any reservations coming in, it would show up. Okay. So notice over on the right, when I highlight Paula Long's reservation, we have the reservation information here, Paula's profile information at the top. Down in the bottom hand corner, this is where you can access the cashiering or billing screen. So we're on Paula Long's reservation. If I want to go to the billing screen, I'm going to click on billing. It's going to ask me for my password again. and it takes me to the billing screen. I close. One more time to access the dashboard. I can do a Control F4, and it takes you to our dashboard. So let's go ahead and go back to the billing screen. By the way, we went there first. So I'm going to go to Cashiering. I'm going to go to Billing, put in my password. I only want to see my due out, so I uncheck stayovers. I click search, and I'm going to go back into the Andy Seiler reservation. I'm going to click on select, and now let's take a look at the billing screen here. At the top, we call this the title bar. This displays the guest name and the room number. Guest name, room number. The status bar gives a brief breakdown of the current reservation status of the guests. So this piece right here. This includes, over on the left, is the balance of the guest folio or the guest bill. And remember, this is a combined balance for all folio windows. So right now we only have one window that has any charges on it. So our guest balance for this particular bill is $394.90. Also on the status bar is the status of the current reservation. Status is due out. So this person's departure date is the same as our hotel date. They're departing on 6/2, and our hotel date is on 6/2. So their status is due out. We also have the arrival date and the departure date of the guest. If the guest was representing a company, or they were here under company business, we would have a company profile attached to the reservation, and it would show here. If they were with a group block, it should show the name of the group here. Next to that, we call the rate code here. This is the current rate code, the last posted rate code upon checkout. Below that is the rate amount. This would be the current rate amount of the last posted rate amount upon checkout. So if they had to rate change during their stay, in the first night it might have been $340, and the second night it was $359. Well, we're only going to see the last night of that it was posted because this guest is a due out. The next field is the number of persons up in the right, and then we have the room type. Okay. As I said before, each guest gets up to 8 folio windows to have charges posted to their room. Additional windows can be generated manually or triggered by routing instructions. Each folio window will be indicated by a number. It will also display the name of the party responsible for the window. So on window 1, Andy Seiler is responsible for these charges. In Opera, window 1 always belongs to the guest. The windows will also reflect a method of payment if assigned on the reservation screen and the current balance of the window. The window numbers are displayed along the right side of the screen for easy access to any window. And they're also, you can see them up by the name. So if I create a second window, I do a right click, choose new window, and this is window 2. Andy Seiler is also responsible for this window. Notice we have the tabs 1 and 2 up here in the right hand corner. If we want to get rid of this window, we do a right click and delete window. Okay, so the buttons down at the bottom here, the first one on the right is the post button. The post button is how you can post charges to the actual guest folio, and we will go over that a little bit later. The edit button, this button is a function in Opera that allows the user to correct a mistake or error like it never happened. Keep in mind this function can only be used on the same day as the transaction was made. Once the night audit is run, you can no longer correct a transaction from the day prior. You would have to do an adjustment. The next button over, the folio and folio styles. Folio and folio styles are the actual bill or receipt that the guest receives. In the hospitality industry, the term folio is used. Depending on what type of folio a guest wants, Opera has a function called folio styles. These folio styles allow a user to select various styles of folios. The guest may want a group folio, which summarizes total charges by transaction codes such as room, food and beverage, and meeting space, or they might simply want a itemized folio for their personal charges. With folio styles, a user can select a folio that best suits the guest's request. Okay, so these are all the different folio styles that we have. I'm going to click on OK, and we will close out. Oh, one more thing while we're in there. Always remember, if you want to preview the folio, you can click Preview. If you want to print, we also have a button for the email. So if the email is on their profile, at checkout, we can email the guest folio to the guest. We all could save it to a PDF file, and then we've got the Close button. Down at the bottom here, the options. Billing options will be reviewed later, so we'll go over these in the next class. The payment button allows the user to take a payment or refund a payment without checking out the reservation. This is where we would post a payment and also where we could refund a payment. The checkout button, sometimes this says settlement. We will review this in a little bit, but the settlement button will show up if the guest is not due out, or they're an early departure, or if we want to check out the guest and post a payment, we can click on checkout and it would take us to the checkout screen. And we'll go over checkout with an open folio in a little bit here. The cashiering right-click quick menu options. So if I'm in the middle of the screen here, I do a right-click. This is the quick menu options. What are cashiering right-click quick menu options? Once in the billing screen and you have the guest folio displayed, the user can click on any guest folio, also known as windows, and right-click. Opera will display a menu with various options related to billing. What components make up this menu? The first one is transfer to window, 1 to 8. This allows the user to transfer the selected charges to another folio window if the window does not currently exist. Then the window will be created and the charges posted. So we could transfer charges from one window to another. We can mark them, do a right click, and transfer to window 2. Mark them, do a right click, and transfer them back to window 1. And then if we want to get rid of window 2, we can click in window 2. We have no charges there, so it's empty, so we can delete it. So we'll do a right click and click delete window. All right, on the right click, back to the right click, the next one down is the new window. As we've seen before, this creates a new window for posting charges based on the next available window. And then I'm going to delete it. The delete window allows the user to delete a folio window only if there are no charges present on the folio window. The screen view full split quad allows the user the ability to change the screen view depending on how many windows are currently open. So if we open a new window and we click in window 1, do a right click, go to screen view. Notice it's on quad right now. Let's say we want to see the full window for window 1. So we see the full window. If I want to go to window 2, I click on window 2. If I do a right click and I want to split the screen, click on split, and now we have a split screen. Go back and I'm going to delete this window. View summarized transactions. This allows the ability to change the way the transactions are displayed on the billing screen. So if I choose View Summarized Transaction, it just makes them look a little different. Click back, and I choose View Detailed Transactions. It shows the reference field over here. Do a right click, View Summarized Transactions. You don't see the reference, and then I'll put it back. The next choice is the delete transaction. This allows a posted transaction to be deleted. This item is permission driven and should be used with extreme care. The next item is split transaction. This allows the user to split a posted transaction by a dollar amount or percentage. And always remember, when you split a transaction, so let's say this guest should have been charged $300 instead of $359, we can highlight the room charge, go to split transaction, and we can split an amount off. Let's say we're going to split off $59. What it does is it takes the $59 and the tax and splits it off. And now we could move these charges to window 2 so the guest does not see them when we print out window 1. So they were originally charged $359. So once we split it, they were charged $359. They should have been charged $300. And then we split off the $59. So now the guest will see on their bill $300. And then we can adjust off the $59. Okay. All right. So just want to make sure that when you use the split, that you know that you can never merge them back together. So we split off the $59, and now we can never put them back together. So I just want you to know that. Okay, the next one is adjust transaction. This allows the user to adjust a transaction by a dollar amount or a percentage. Okay. So we could adjust off the selected posting, which we will do in a later training. Okay. The next choice on my right click is transfer transaction. Transactions can be transferred to and from another guest room. And we'll do this later, but when you highlight one of the transactions, do a right click, click on transfer transaction. It takes you to this transfer type screen, and you can transfer to another room. You can transfer from another room, or you could transfer from a list of rooms. Okay. Next is research transaction. This screen allows the user to sort through postings and to see the posting details of the transaction. So this is really good to use when you have a posting master that has 20, 30, 40, 50 rooms, room and tax posted to it, and you're searching for certain transactions. This allows you to search for those transaction codes, and you can search for them and bring them up all at one time. Okay. The next one is add or delete guest view. Add, remove guest view. This allows the user to add or remove additional guest room folios for viewing. The user may have a total of 6 guest room folios open at one time. So if you go to add guest view, this allows you to search for another guest. Maybe you want to bring up their bills at the same time. Maybe they're traveling together. I could bring up 2 at a time if I wanted to, or up to 6. And then I'm going to click on select. And then down at the bottom here, I can go from one guest bill to another. You have the guest names down below here. And you can switch back and forth from one guest to the other. If you want to get rid of them, you can highlight it, choose remove guest view. And if I want to remove Miss Hartman, I can highlight her folio, do a right click, and remove guest view. Now we're back to where we started. $300 in window 1 and taxes, and then the $59 in window 2. Okay. Back to the right click. A couple more on here. Next guest, previous guest. This gives you the ability to toggle between the additional guest views. And then the last one is the POS check details. If you have a POS posting on your guest bill here, you can do a right click on it and go to POS check details, and this will display the check details for transactions via the POS interface. So you would be able to see the full check from the POS interface. Okay, so I'm going to close out of the billing screen from this particular one. And I'm going to go into Lyle Erkey, and I'm going to click on Select, room 301. And you notice that the room charges are on window 2 here. This tells me that window 1, the charges are going to be taken care of by Lyle Erkey. And then window 2, the room and tax charges will be taken care of by web.com. Okay? So web.com has sent a credit card. Notice there's a credit card number up here, a Visa card, so you can pay for the charges with that credit card. So we're just going to do a simple checkout here, one that has charges on window 2, and we're going to post a simple charge on the guest billing and the guest folio. So to post a charge, we're going to click on post. And if the guest is paying cash, it says that there's a no post flag on. Do you want to post the charge anyway? And I'm going to say yes. Okay, so let's say that we want to post a laundry charge for the guest. They had some laundry done and they sent it out, and now it's been brought back, and we have not posted the charge to their bill yet. So we click the down arrow. To the right of the percent sign, I'm going to type in laundry. If I knew what the transaction code was, 5025, I could have typed it in. Let's say their laundry charge was $54. And then you could put the check number of the laundry charge receipt. And you could put a reference in of guest laundry. And the guest reference will show up on the guest bill, but the supplement is more of an internal information. So supplement will show up on internal reports, and when you put something in the reference field, it will show up on the guest bill. I'm going to click Post. We've posted $54. I'm going to close. We have the guest owes $54 in window 1, and the room and tax is going to be taken care of by this visa that was given to us by web.com. Okay, so if we want to do a checkout, I'm going to start with window 1, so I've highlighted it. I'm going to click on the checkout button. I'm going to click on checkout. Now the guests, when they checked in, gave us cash, or we forgot to get a credit card or didn't get a credit card. But let's say they gave us a check at checkout. So we're going to choose check. For $54, we could put the check number, $345. And then once we click post and checkout, we could click print folio, and it would print the folio out automatically for us. Or we could check email, and it would email the folio out if we had an email address. If we did not, we could add the email address here. I'm not going to have printed, and I'm not going to email it. I'm going to click on post. So we've posted the $54. Now it asks you, do you want to continue with window 2? I'm going to say yes. And then it takes us to window 2's payment screen. And we have a Visa card on file when the guest checked in or web.com sent it to us. We're going to post that $226 to the Visa card. And then you get a pop-up that says, would you like to schedule a checkout time or continue with the checkout? So if the guest came down and decided to pay for their bill, but they said they were not checking out till later, you could schedule a checkout time. And if the bill is still at 0, then the system will automatically check them out at that time. I'm going to choose to continue, and it will check out the guest. So if you notice on window 1, I have a 0 balance. They paid by check. On window 2, I have a 0 balance. They paid by the credit card. The key is to make sure you have a 0 balance. If you do not have a 0 balance, that means you have not checked out the guest. So now you see the status is on checked out, and this guest has been checked out now. We have one more due out there. We can close, and it takes us back to the main screen. So that is how we do a checkout. We did a simple checkout. We also went over the billing screen. And the last thing we're going to do in this class is just show you how you can access a couple reports so that you can see what you've posted for today, and then how to close out your cashier. A couple of reports that you might want to show your postings, what you've posted today. If you go to miscellaneous and you go to reports, there's a report called the Journal by Cashier report. So if I just type in the word journal and click on search, I find the Journal by Cashier and Transaction Code report. I click on OK. It puts in today's date. If I only want the postings for my cashier ID, I can click on the drop down where it says cashier. This shows you all the cashiers in your hotel. There's only 3. And I would choose the Opera Supervisor cashier ID. I also want to group it. How do I want to group it? I want to group it by transaction code. And I want to put it in chronological order. Once I do that, I can click preview or print, and this report will show everything that I've done today, postings, payments, any adjustments I've done. So it's called the Journal by Cashier and Transaction Code report. So once you preview it, I've pulled up a sample of what this report looks like so that you can see kind of what it looks like. It's got it sorted by transaction code here. So at this particular hotel, This person or multiple people have posted multiple charges to Fiji Water. I go to the next page. It gives me a total $57. We've got some rollaway charges here, $155. Room rates, occupancy tax. So this is everything that was posted. And then at the end, we have cash, Visa, MasterCard. All your payments will always be at the end of the journal by cashier and transaction code. Okay, so this is what your journal would look like. Okay. And then we'll close out. And then the last thing we're going to do is show you how to close out your cashier. So to close out your cashier, you're going to click on Cashiering. You're going to click on Cashier Shift Functions, and you have a button for Cashier Shift Close. We're going to click on Cashier Shift Close, put our Opera password in. This shows what we've posted for today. There's our laundry charge. There's our no-show charge, occupancy tax, the check, and the Visa. I'm going to click on OK. I have no cash to drop. I did not take any paid outs in, but I took one check for $54. So that's what I will be dropping. I'm going to click on OK. Please verify your cash drop before closing. Is it correct? I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to print my cashier report, but if you say yes, it will print out your cashier report. It'll have a page for cash. It will have a page for checks. It will have a page for credit cards and any miscellaneous postings that you've done. I'm going to click on yes. Oh, I said I was going to pick on Wes, but I meant no. Sorry. So once your cashier is closed and you've printed out your reports, there will be a pop-up that says cashier is closed. We'll click on OK, and it takes you back to the main screen. Okay, so that concludes this class on Cashiering 1. And we will have, in the next class for Cashiering 2, we will go into more detail on the billing screen and the checkout screen. That concludes this session.